declaring us live for the day. Welcome into the Slate DK Live, little Thursday afternoon Slate action, talking sports as usual. I'm hosting. No Adam Kaufman. I know, a huge disappointment for the two Adam Kaufman fans that we have on our stream. But no, I'm Jeff Ulrich. I'm going to be hosting today with Reed T. Fowler. And guess what? Since we like golf, we're probably going to focus on golf today. And guess what? We also like football. So expect a lot of golf and football talk. I'm not going to get into that baseball nerdy stuff. We'll leave that for the Friday crew. I think that's when Buchanan and maybe Lamarca's on.
Bunch of dopes.
You can talk to their BABIP and they're like, Steve can tell you about the Mariners are going to win the World Series probably. There.
Yeah, let's talk. Yeah, let's talk about 162 games where it's going to be different than the 160th game. Give me a break. Get out of here. Golf is the most exciting sport to watch right now, Jeff. And you know why? It's because it mostly resembles professional wrestling.
Yes.
When the WWF and WCW, and they split up, it's basically like what we have right now, right? And there's a lot of different things that you can talk about with golf. There's a lot of enemies, a lot of heels, a lot of baby faces. So the most exciting sport to watch right now and talk about is golf, not as baseball business.
And the sides are forming. I mean,
yes.
You got Keith Mitchell coming out as another, Billy Horschel was going off on the Live guys earlier this week. Now Keith Mitchell is going off on the Live guys.
Love it.
And you got, Poulter and Harding, by the way, and Justin Harding actually in this tournament, not just in it, but actually playing well. We got like three of these Live guys. Now they've snuck their way into the Scottish Open. So some more intrigue, like Reed said. I mean, this Scottish Open, all of a sudden, it's like, Hatfields and McCoy's going at it here. So interesting time in golf to be sure. The Open's going to be crazy. Got guys going to be like Louis and Dustin Johnson in the mix probably because, it's an Open and Louis always plays well at the Open. So who knows? Maybe a Live guy will actually, be there on Sunday next week. But, for right now, we got the Scottish Open going on. We got the Barbasol, two dual events. We got all the European guys going over to Kentucky and all the Americans going over to Scotland this week. So we'll start with the Scottish Open. I mean, I don't know about you, but did you see the 9 under from Cameron Tringali coming this morning?
No, I woke up. So this is what happened. I want to give you guys a little rundown on how I woke up. I woke up at 4 o'clock, obviously, because I have a newborn baby. I didn't check. And I didn't check the scores because I didn't want to not be able to go back to sleep for a few hours.
Right.
So I just didn't want to make myself angry because I knew I was going to if I checked the scores. It's just that I had a feeling. So I woke up around 7 o'clock Eastern, which is about 2 o'clock event time. The second I woke up, Jeff, I saw Joaquin Niemann, who I put an outright bet on at plus 4,500, miss a 3-foot putt. So no, I was too busy lamenting to myself because no one else is in the house to listen to me lament about Joaquin Niemann. I do tell my wife everything about this and she doesn't care. She's like, oh, why do you bet these guys then? I'm like, it's a really good point. I saw him miss the 3-foot putt, a 4-foot putt, and we talked about it a little bit before the show, right? That's what you have to come to expect at links. What Cameron Tringali did, I think he rattled off 6 birdies in a row in the back on the inward 9. That is impressive because these are fescue based greens. They're extremely slow. If you watch the feature group on PGA Tour Live and ESPN Plus, and you watch Mott's and Fleetwood putt, those things are bouncing all over the place. They were ramming putts, even into the wind. Good luck, right? Good luck trying to figure out how this is going to play over the next handful of days. The forecast seems to be the same, right? Or not the same, but relatively the same over the next 3 days. And a lot of these guys like Tringali, they have to come out in the afternoon tomorrow. Gary Woodland as well. So guys like Kitayama and some of these other players who shot very, very good rounds in the afternoon wave should be at the top of your DFS showdown lineups or maybe even outright bets.
Yeah, I think you'll see a lot of movement. I mean, what Cameron Tringali did, what Woodland did too. I mean, Woodland is almost Gary Woodland coming out 6 under after just doing completely just nothing over, the first 2 majors kind of thing. And just, looking like he was close there for a bit.
Yeah.
And then just pulling the ejector cord in a couple tournaments. He comes out and shoots 6 under at the Scottish Open. But no, I expect a lot of these players who are hovering around 2 under, 3 under, even 1 under, I think, to make up some ground tomorrow. It was, it's just one of those days. It reminds me when Charlie Hoffman shot 64,
Yeah.
whatever it was, to open at Augusta that year when it was like terrible conditions and he had like a
Yeah.
4-shot lead. And then the next day he was like, he had lost the lead by like 9 holes. Like it's probably going to be the same kind of thing with Tringali. So
Yeah, where do you think Tringali finishes? Because this is what always happens, right? Tringali shoots something like this, and then he kind of just falters. Where do you think he finishes?
I'll say T14.
Yeah, I was going to say 18.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's again, that's how this is not going to be a JT Poston, John Deere, wired type thing.
Really doubt it.
Like that, maybe Svensson at the Barbasol at the Shaving Cream Open, shooting 10 under par. In round one, maybe over there, but here, this is a whole nother beast. And you see some of these guys. I think we touched on Mito Pereira last night. I liked him sort of in that plus 7,000 range. He played well at 4 under par. But yeah, look at these guys.
Where is he at actually? Like, I mean, that's okay. I thought I missed him there. He's at plus 1,600. I was gonna say if he's bigger than like plus 3,500, we should be betting him. But yeah, he's at plus 1,600. He's still a player I'm gonna keep my eye on here. I don't know if I'll get exposure to him at that price, but player I wish I had some pre-event money on right now, Mito Pereira.
Yeah, and look, you talk about these European players. They like Robert McIntyre obviously didn't play well at 3 over par. Hideki didn't play well at 3 over. Fleetwood 3 over. JT I think is at 3 over as well. The afternoon wave, I think people who were watching who are just follow golf Twitter know that a bunch of people tweeted this out saying that the afternoon wave was plus 3.5 in average scoring relative to par to the morning wave, which was like plus 0.39. Right. Yeah. So like that's just the way that's just how the cookie crumbled. And hopefully that switches and it equalizes tomorrow where we get, probably this score. I would argue, Jeff, that at 9 under par, that's probably going to be the lead tomorrow. I don't think it gets much higher than that. Maybe a little bit, but not much higher.
Well, it's Woodland at 6, and then like what's the next highest after that? Like, is there? I can't even. Here, I should just get
Harding's at 5, Tringali's at 9. Like Woodland's, in second by himself at 6.
I mean, if Tringali shoots like 2 over, I mean, I could even see the leading scorer being like, lower than 9 under. So yeah, I agree. Like I think 9 under, it'll probably be the score tomorrow. That's kind of what we're saying. Like, the guys at 2 and 1, they're just fine. I mean, they're chasing one dude. Like it's not that big a deal. There's very low likelihood we're going to get like a Tringali wire to wire winner here. So there's just way too many, with the wind and the links and stuff like that. So yeah, there's definitely live betting opportunities. Like I said, right now I got my eye on Mito probably the most. He's obviously at 4 under. But his odds aren't that great. But I mean, Cam Smith at -2, Jordan Spieth, the guy I liked pre-event, -2, still at a good number, plus 2,000. Look, that's almost his pre-event number. Like that's fine with me. He's going to be making up ground on the weekend. So Jordan L. Smith, another young player that some people liked down there, -2. Your guy Neiman is only a -1 too. I think the -1s are super live. Ricky actually played well again. Yeah. And he started in the afternoon wave and shot 1 under. If your guy played the afternoon,
that's impressive.
And shot under par, be happy. Like they could make up ground tomorrow. They're going to go it early tomorrow. So
right.
Yeah, Ricky's a guy I might even sprinkle a little bit on Ricky. I only had him top 40 right now. So yeah. Anyone else out there kind of catch your eye or?
Yeah, no, I mean, yes, the 3 over guys like JT, they're all done. I really don't think that they're going to be making up that much ground. Like, he could arguably do it, but he's not going to, right? Like that, like I would cut it off right where you were saying 1 or 2. If you want to get exposure to Neiman, he's there. I liked him at plus 4,500. I don't even know what his number is now. I wasn't even checking. Yeah, he's at plus 4,000. So again, right around that pre-event number.
Yep.
Justin Rose was someone that I was looking at pre-tournament, Jeff. He did well. But again, like you mentioned, Ricky Fowler shooting 1 under. If you normalize that score with the tee draw, like he would have shot 4 under. That's as good as a 4 under round, which was Rasmus Højgaard, right, in the morning. And in my mind, at least, I don't know if this is true or not, Ricky Fowler is a better golfer than Rasmus Højgaard. Maybe. From a projection, I think over the long haul, Rasmus might have a slight edge, but if we're talking about entire career, Højgaard is still very young. Yeah. Ricky was a top 5 player. Like Ricky was one of I think the only player over a span of 5 or 6 years, maybe longer, who stayed in the top 5 the longest in OWGR.
Right.
This year, maybe, like, you know, there's a lot of things that he changed with his life. Maybe changed stuff with the swing. He's now wearing glasses. Hopefully, you know, he does the Jameis Winston. He gets LASIK if he needs it. But yeah, that's also someone you have to take a look at as well. And remember too, Kurt Kitayama, he played on the European Tour for a while before coming over to the PGA Tour. So he has a ton of experience on these courses.
He does. Kitayama's he's a European Tour winner. So yeah, and if you want a live bet on Ricky too, and you just, you know, you just can't see Ricky Fowler winning, don't forget he's chasing an Open Championship spot here. So he needs to finish inside the top 10 and be one of the top 3 qualifiers, non-qualifiers. So if you bet, you can get a live line on Ricky Fowler right now, plus 650. I really don't hate that at all right now with where he's at. Like we said, he went out in the tough wave. He shot under par. Should have a bit easier time of it tomorrow going out early. I haven't looked at the weather, but I know what I saw yesterday. You know, definitely like I'm pretty sure the morning had just a tiny bit of an advantage at least. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be tough. Like the wind is supposed to be, I'm at windfinder.com at the Durlington weather center, which is, I think, right on the course, Jeff.
Yeah. And
we got gusts peaking from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. It's basically the tournament. 25 mile per hour gusts, sustained at 18 to 20. So you're looking at pretty much the same stuff.
Yeah. Right? So like those really early starters, you know, the early guys might catch a small break because, you know, maybe the wind just doesn't pick up that quickly. I just feel like the afternoon wind generally too, just a little bit worse over there, like almost always. So, yeah, it's going to be another kind of cruddy day. Like we said, don't be shocked if Tringali even, you know, the lead steps back a shot or two tomorrow. So
yeah, actually the wind from 7 a.m. till basically when the tournament's or the round's over is going to be at 24 to 25 gusts. So look, I mean, like if you're like the afternoon guys, this kind of feels like the players, right? Without the wind or without the rain, excuse me. It's like if you're in the afternoon wave, you're just like, see ya. Just pack your bags, head over to St. Andrews if you're in the field. That's kind of how it feels like, right? And it's this tournament is so important for these guys too. There's FedEx Cup points both here and at the Barbasol. Both are co-sanctioned, DP World Tour and PGA Tour, both in Kentucky and here. So this is important. This is important for some guys who are sitting at like right on the bubble. We're getting late into like this is already July, right? So the playoffs start right around the corner. This is not like you can take off, you know, Brooks Koepka, you know, Patrick Reed style, where you can just take off and play 3 tournaments a year, where you're probably still going to be playing 25. But like you got to get going, right? You have to start placing.
Yeah, no, it's a big time of year. I mean, we're getting into like the last few tournaments of the regular season.
Yep.
Wyndham Championships coming up, which is the last event of the year, always where the guys have to make up a bunch of ground and finish inside the top 125. So yeah, it is a big event. And you know, we got 2 of them going on. Anything catch your eye at the Barbasol quickly? Or I mean, just a bunch of random names. I mean, it's
a bunch of randos. You know, I mean, you have some Euro guys over here, right? That we really don't know anything about. Spider Villegas, he's at 7 under, which is nice to see. Like I talked about Svensson. Svensson's got 2 eagles today on the card. 2 eagles. I mean, I don't know if you bet Svensson last week, but I did, and he was got off. You see deer run. And this is kind of what happens, right? Like you bet him, I bet Svensson, I believe at plus 4,500, plus 5,000 in that field, thinking, wow, what a number.
Yep.
I thought he was going to do what he was doing this week, last week, and then you slash that number in half, and you're like, that's like no way. Like he just showed me he's not worth plus 4,500. Why should he be worth plus 2,500? And this is why, right? This is why it's difficult in these type of tournaments. But no, I mean, look, there's a bunch of no names. I took an outright in Austin Cook at plus 6,200. I think he's got 5 feet for birdie on 5, which is his 14th hole, to get to 5 under. Cross my fingers, hope he makes it, but I'm thinking he doesn't, because now I'm seeing, I don't think he made it. So, right, that's what you're doing. Like, I'm trying to salvage my lost outrights from the Scottish at the Barbasol right now, Jeff. I'm chasing a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, Svensson gained at 1,000,000 strokes putting today. Not shocked. He obviously shot 62. Started his round off with a 12-foot par save. That's pretty hilarious. And then just went on to like basically miss no putts after that. They actually did have one short miss putt, but yeah, I mean, leaderboard down here: Tom Lewis, David Skins, Matty Smith, Richard Goivia. These are all just Euro Tour guys. I don't know what they're doing. I jumped on Doc Redman just because I almost bet him pre-event. So I jumped on him when he was around 60-1, and I think he was 4 or 5 under. He's at 6 under. It's a player who should have like no problems with this course. It's very simple. He shouldn't get messed up around the green too much. And, Svensson kind of showed you what some of these players can do, like these good young players can do if their putter gets hot on this course, because it's so simple for these guys. They're going to hit like 15, 16 greens, and they're going to have eagle opportunities. So, they're like, these guys can get it going. I'm not shocked that Svensson shot 62. I don't necessarily trust him to go wire to wire because he's not that good a putter, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah. Thus, Kolu just scared the what out of me. Don't know why. He's probably barking at Austin Cook, missing actually hitting his chip, actually 5 feet for par. He hit his chip like from 80 feet to 60 feet. But yeah, you're right. Look, I mean, again, this is another tournament. I mentioned this earlier in the week that this is an important tournament as well. Like, you get 500 FedEx Cup points.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
If you win this, you get 2-year exemption. You get to go to TOC and Kapalua if you win this golf tournament, I believe, right? And also too, I think is this a qualifier for the Open, or no? Was that John Deere? John
Deere
the
last I think one. It is actually.
If it is, then like, as much as Ricky Fowler loves Scottish golf, right? I don't know why Ricky wouldn't be here. If it is, I'm not sure if it is or not, but I know the Scottish Open is.
Yeah, I know the Scottish Open is. I don't know what the qualifying is for the Barbasol. I feel like there's some kind of qualifying spot on the graph. Maybe it's just the winner.
Yeah,
just gets a spot. Like, I think that maybe it's something like that. But yeah.
Again, that's massive, right? Like,
absolutely,
to play in a major, and so like this course is extremely easy. If Svensson shot 62 at 10 under par, this is an easy course that you should be able to pick apart, especially for a guy like Svensson.
Yeah. So, anyways, should be it's going to be a fun week tracking both these events. The Scottish obviously started off kind of weird with the big wave split, but my main advice about the Scottish Open going into next week: it's okay if the guy you like at the Scottish doesn't do much. If he's in the event and he's just, bouncing around, he finishes T40 or something, that's okay. These guys are just getting some links under their belt. Like, it's a good thing that they're in the event. So don't be too hard on the guys that you're eyeing next week. If you're like, oh man, like I like Xander next week, but he's shot 2 over today. That's terrible. That's fine. Like, Morikawa was like T71 in this event last year. Like, he did nothing, but he played and he got that experience under his belt. And then he came and he just, dialed it up a notch for the Open. So I think you'll see a lot of players kind of maybe even just go through the motions if they make the weekend, and they're down in the standings, and that's fine. Just don't worry too much about the results necessarily. Worry more about the fact that they're doing the process. So
do you think we get a drift on these guys? Like, if Xander misses the cut, do you think he goes plus 2,500?
I mean, I don't know about plus 2,500, but like, you got the Open Championship lines up there now. So, I mean, well, maybe actually, because they're already at plus 22.
Yeah. I
mean, it's just, that's the nice thing about this too, right? Because I think you will get some drift, and you'll get obviously, some guys, like I think Spieth, unfortunately, if he gets in the mix, like he could get down to a shorter number for sure. He get down to like plus like Justin Thomas levels, just because he's such a good Open player already, and he lost in a playoff there in 2000, or no, he wasn't in the playoff. He missed the playoff by one shot there in 2015. And then, you've got guys down like Cameron Smith. You could see a shorter number on too if he gets in the mix. So, but yeah, we could also have an effect in the other direction with a guy like Shoffley too, right? And Thomas. I could see Thomas's number perhaps drifting. Maybe him and Spieth end up switching spots. So that's the nice thing about it. But yeah, I think there'll be a little bit of reaction to this. There has to be. I mean, it's just people, it's like the only thing they kind of were going off here between this and when the Open tees off. I think the big question is, what do you do with the guys who don't play this week?
Yeah, I think it's split. I mean, if you take a look at, I was looking at this for the US Open, and I think Dave Tyndall does a great trends piece. So if you want to follow, I can't forget his Twitter account is the great, like, here are the trends coming into the tournament. And I think he did like, hey buddy, I'm on a show, be quiet. He did a thing where he shows like, does it make sense to play before or not, or rest? And it's basically split down the middle.
Right.
Like guys who played before in terms of how they finished and guys who didn't. It was like the last 20 majors. It was like 10 like got a start in and 10 didn't, who ended up winning. Having said that, links is different though, right? Like links course experience, getting that feel, the wind, the bounces, just the mentality around it is way different than like a PGA or even Augusta, right? Everyone knows Augusta National. Links course, especially because it changes, it's different. So that's something I would venture to say I would want some guys with experience. And Rory at plus 1100 or plus 900, I'm not touching that. Maybe first round leader for Rory. But other than that, like, I want my guys to be playing. I'm not talking about like the JP McManus.
Right.
Like, competitive.
Yeah.
Like Shane Lowry, I'm a little worried about, but like not worried about, but I wouldn't be as gung-ho to be rostering him over, let's say, Xander, or like betting. Like if Xander misses the cut and Shane Lowry doesn't play, like I would weigh Xander's miscut less than Lowry's not playing. That makes sense.
Yeah, I don't have the exact stats of who played the Scottish or who played the week before the Open in front of me, but I do know off the top of my head, if you go back the last decade or so, there's like maybe one or two guys who didn't play the week before. So it's not that big a deal. Like, I mean, I'll tell you right now, one guy I am betting isn't in the field this week. That's Adam Scott. Like I just think Adam Scott's number at plus 6,500, or he was at plus 6,500 yesterday, is it's just really good. This is a player who, just finished T14 at the US Open. He's been like, he's been shooting pretty well, and he's had some good rounds. Yeah, he's had like a couple bad patches too, but like he's really not been that far off. And I just know, just looking over the last couple months, it's very, very hyper focused on these majors, man. And that's what I love about him. He's been testing some new equipment. It seems to be going well. His approach game was really ticking up at the Memorial. And like I said, the US Open, like that's a good result coming into the Open Championship. I just look at that range and you look at the players there, and just with the other thing about the Open is, I know Morikawa won last year, and it was like kind of like the anomaly, and like it kind of broke the trend of like, oh, young players can't win this event. But 7 of the last 9 winners of the Open, here we go. 7 of the last 10 winners of the Open have been 32 years of age or older. So that includes the Morikawa win, but 7 of the last 10 have been 32 years or older. And then you can even go back a little bit further. 6 of the last 10 have been 35 or older. And then you also have the experience factor. 14 of the last 16 winners of the Open have had a finish of T9 or better at the event in a previous year. So basically they've had a top 10 at the Open on their resume before winning. So Adam Scott fits all those experience factors for me. And, I just look at that range and I'm thinking I'm not betting Paul Casey because he doesn't play golf anymore, apparently. Sergio Garcia is like Sergio. Bobby McIntyre obviously stinks because he shot 3 over today. I just don't think Robert McIntyre is winning the Open either. I just don't think his game's quite there. Neiman down there plus 5,000, maybe a guy I could give a look to, but like like Sung Jae, Finau. I mean, these guys really haven't been that great. I like Adam Scott, top 20 at the US Open, trending well. He's got more Open Championship experience than any one of those guys I've mentioned. Like I feel like his number should be where Louis is. Like him and Louis. Why is there a 25-point difference between him and Louis, man? Like, so I think Adam Scott right now the best value on the board.
Yeah, I was going to ask you what you're going to do with Louis.
I might actually bet Louis next week. I'm not kidding, and that's not a joke. It's just
I might bet Louis next week.
He's played a couple live events. He's definitely, the form is starting to get better. He was in the mix all last week, and he's actually played 3 times since the live thing started. The first live event wasn't great. Then he top 10 in some random, like the BMW International, and then last week he was hanging around the top. Now he's coming to St. Andrews. Like it's
plus 4,000 as well.
Like if I can get like plus 5 or plus 6 on Louis next week, I mean, I will bet it. Like I said, I do like Adam Scott better. I think Adam Scott's probably got a better chance to win, but like if I can get a comparable number on Louis, those are the 2 guys I'd be targeting.
Like who's the deepest guy in odds that like was Stuart Sink when he won the Open, or like Zach Johnson when he won?
Yeah, I think
guys like
I'm pretty sure Zach Johnson was I can't remember what his number was, but man, it had to have been like 100 to 1 or something. I feel like it had to be like that. I know Leishman that year when he got in the playoffs went off at like 200 to 1, but I don't remember what Zach Johnson's odds were. But yeah, have we had any big winners? That's actually a good question. Like, let's go back in time here. Obviously, Morikawa was, like I think it was like 28 to 1 or something. And then we had Lowry, who I think was like 40 or 50 to 1. I can't even remember who the winners were before that. Spieth won in 2000. Who won in 2018? Do you remember?
God, I can't remember. Is that Phil won way before that.
Yeah, way before.
I don't know. Hold on, let me check.
It's always tough playing the major championship game. Which guy won which year?
Franny Molinari.
Oh yeah, Molinari. Yeah. So
that was the year he won like the John Deere, the Barbasol, the Travelers. He won like everything before the Open.
So I mean, like those guys aren't very far off from where like Louis and Adam Scott are going off. That's kind of my point. Like Lowry wasn't like huge odds. It wasn't like 100 to 1, but he also wasn't like 30 to 1. Like I'm pretty sure he was around 40 or 50. And I'm pretty sure Molinari, you might even be able to get him around the same number as Adam Scott. So, like those are 2 guys. And like I said, I definitely kind of prefer Adam Scott over Louis, but those are a couple guys in that range. And I'm just trying to think if there's anyone else trending kind of as strongly as Lowry and Molinari was coming into this year. I don't know. Is there anyone else in that range we're missing, like for you?
Well, you take a look at the guys who have won. Their ranking, the highest ranked golfer over the last since 2011 or 12. Actually, let's just go 2000 since Phil won 2013. Shane Lowry was the highest ranked golfer.
Like in the world rankings.
In the world ranking. Yeah. So, like with that said, if you take a look at some of these guys, and Max Homa comes to mind at plus 8,000. He might not fit the recent the Open trends that you were talking about.
Yeah.
But he's someone that's just I could just see like he has the right mentality too for the Open Championship.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Right. So like that strikes me as some value there. But you're right. Like I'm probably staying away from some of these other names that could pop, even guys that might do well this week. Right. Like let's say Justin Rose comes out and he actually, top 10s. Like I might stay away from that because I want guys who have done well, in strong fields, right? This week and then the following week, you want guys who have played well in high strength of fields. And that's someone like a Max Homa, right? He's won at these difficult tournaments like the Wells. He's played well at the Genesis, at Riv, right? That always attracts top talent. So those are the guys that I want to take. Other than that, like I'm looking at some of these guys deeper in odds at plus 10,000 and deeper. And again, like if Gary plays well this week, like that is an easy fade for me next week.
Yeah.
Like, cause his odds are going to go down. Like if you want Gary and if he plays well and he wins, you want him, then bet him right now. Because if he wins, his odds are going to go down to plus 5,000. like in a heartbeat. That's a Gary Woodland effect. Everybody loves when Gary Woodland's trending because of his game, right? Because he's a momentum golfer. But at the Open Championship, I think it's a little bit different. So deeper odds, I'm probably looking at Max Homa as the only guy that I want to target and do a little bit more research on, because as you know, I think he's in the top. He's got to be 30 at least.
Top 30,
right?
the OD.
Oh yeah, he's top 20. He's in.
Yeah.
He's 19th in the world. So
he's
yeah,
way up there. Yeah,
19th ranked. And again, I love Tiger, Bryson. You know, I'm a fan of Bryson's. But what are they doing at plus 5,000 and Max Homa at plus 8?
Yeah. No, I mean, Homa's a guy. I mean, I might be able to get beyond that too. He's in the field this week, so he's gonna be doing some prep. He was T40 at the Open last year, so this is actually his second Open championship. So you kind of like that. I mean, again, like I feel like any experience is good with the Open too. So I agree. I look at that. I mean, I think you just look at that range, right? You know, like he's with, like, who else are you? I always look at a range and I say, like, who else am I going to take in this range? Is there someone else that legitimately sticks out with better upside? The only person you could make a case for, I think, is Mito, but I think Homa right now, I would probably take over him, just from the perspective of, you know, it's an Open. Like, who would I kind of trust more to, like, you know, be able to grind his way through an Open championship? I think it's Homa. Yeah. So, you know, not it's very close. I mean, Mito almost won a major like 2 starts ago. So, but I think Max Homa obviously is a pretty proven talent right now. And like you said, he's got wins over strong fields. So yeah, I like that call.
He like if you look at his game log since the Phoenix, or since the Farmers, actually, he hasn't lost strokes gained tee to green, and he's averaging like 5 strokes tee to green gained per round. The only blemish, right, are the majors. He didn't play well at the Masters at 48th, and then the 47th at the US Open. So he might have.
He was T13 at the PGA.
Right. So, and that's the thing I was going to say is that, you know, that you have, this is when you get ahead of things, right? This is like, oh, I wish I bet, you know, Homa before he was what he's going to be. I wish I, you know, got on Scotty Scheffler before he was Scotty Scheffler. I'm not saying Max Homa is Scotty Scheffler, but you take a look at his log, and he's got a 5th at the Memorial, 13th at the PGA. He won the Wells Fargo, 13th at the Players, 17th at Arnold Palmer, 10th at Genesis, 14th at Phoenix. All of those tournaments have high strength, like more like higher than average strength of fields. And he's done well, right? And he's putting amazing. This guy might be onto something. And like you mentioned, who are we betting? You know, in that range. Corey Connors might be more of a DFS play than an outright bet, because Corey Connors never wins. And Max Homa does, right? Out of all these players in this range, the 2 guys that win, that stick out to me, are Max Homa and Billy Horschel, right? And I'd much rather play Max Homa than Billy Horschel.
Yeah, I don't think I'm going to bet Billy Horschel on the links. Okay. This was fun because we just basically talked golf for like 35 minutes. Do you have a hot take NFL bet you want to throw up before we end here? Before we wrap things up?
The Chargers to miss playoffs? No. That's not my
any field, anything, any NFL bet. You got one off the
top? The bets, I'm still working through my player features right now. I think
there is some, by the way, there's some new player futures out on the draft. Like you can take like, there's touchdown props, there's yardage props, like all the quarterbacks, stuff like that. So, I mean, check those out. We didn't do a good job of going over them today, but you know, it's July like 5th or 7th, whatever. We got all July to go over these, but
right.
Yeah.
MVP, I always like doing the MVP. You know, obviously it's a quarterback.
Oh yeah,
you know,
you're on the right guy too. There we go.
Trey Lance at plus 5,000.
That's got to be the bet. That's got to be the bet for MVP.
What do you need? He's basically the longest in odds of any quarterback, right? I mean, Tua, fine. Baker, like whatever. We're not doing Mac Jones. He's not winning because you have to get stats. Mac Jones doesn't get stats. You have to be good, right? So of the guys I would want to bet, Trey Lance is there at plus 5,000. And look, I'm talking about very low exposure to a future outright on Trey Lance. But I'm with you. You talked about it on the sweat with you. You know, when we were talking about it earlier today. I wouldn't be surprised if he's a league winner. If you draft Trey Lance, or if you get him in an auction draft, or if you're in a keeper, like, and you have a cheap, a cheap contract on Lance, keep him. Jimmy Garoppolo is not going to be the answer. They did the whole song and dance last year with Jimmy Garoppolo. It didn't work out. I think he's not going to be on the team come the end of this season. I think he's either going to be in Cleveland or somewhere else where they can get actual equity for him. And this is going to be Trey Lance. This is going to be the Trey Lance experience. And what did Lamar Jackson do his first year? Right? Like exactly. You watch Trey Lance, and Trey Lance is a better passer than most people think.
Yeah, I think he'll be a better passer than Lamar Jackson. I think that's the big thing too, right? Like he's on a good team. He's got great receivers, and he's going to run the ball a ton. I think there's all. And you mentioned Lamar Jackson, but to that point, don't forget about what Patrick Mahomes did his first full year as a starter after sitting for a year. I think people are still just sleeping on this. I love this number.
So Trey Lance MVP, I don't mind it at all. That's something I want to take a look at. Still doing it. I kind of joked about it. Excuse me. I kind of joked about it earlier today too. Like if this is going to be Jacoby Brissett, if it's going to be Brissett under center, and Pierce made a good point about targeting his tight ends because I looked into it, and Brissett because he doesn't his average depth target is 6.
Yeah, it's 6 yards.
It's 6 something, and his average yards per game is $196. So what that just screams tight end. But if this is like Nick Chubb, I know he averages 16, 17 carries a game, but when he hits that 20 carry a game mark, this guy can go off and bust off 180 yards, right? So Nick Chubb at plus 1,000 right now. I know JT and Derrick Henry are the top 2 guys, but Nick Chubb, don't forget. Right. I would have loved Javonte Williams, but
all right, there's our 2 bets: Trey Lance, Nick Chubb. We got to go. Eamon saying wrap it up. We got some Madden coming up next, guys. I'm going to let you guys guess who's playing because I don't know, but there's Madden coming up. Trust me. Slate, we'll be back tomorrow. It's the Dolphins playing in the Cardinals. There you go. Dolphins, Cardinals for you Madden aficionados. Slate will be back 5 p.m. Eastern tomorrow. We got the sweat, 10 a.m. No, it's not 10 a.m. Eastern. What?
11 a.m.
11 a.m. Eastern, the sweat every morning. Goodbye, guys. Reed Fowler, Jeff Ulrich. Peace out. See ya.
Austin Cook bogey that par 5.